Hey folks, thanks for tuning in again this month to our virtual town hall. Before we get into the two Superfund sites that we're currently working with, I want to give some specific Houston updates. First, this last Sunday, you may have noticed large plumes of black smoke coming from the east side. Shell in Deer Park reported to Harris County Pollution Control that they were undergoing noticeable flaring. Pollution Control responded immediately and sent emergency responders out to the site, and we're still waiting for some more updates on that. But like I said, if you did notice the plume of smoke, it was coming from flaring at Shell in Deer Park. Okay, something else that not only folks of Houston, but truly everywhere around the country should be concerned about is what's going on with Interstate 10. We all know this is a thoroughfare for our country, for our products to make their way across the United States. But after Imelda and other incidences that have happened where the bridge has been damaged and traffic has been severely impacted by the lack of ability for cars to go across the bridge at the San Jacinto River, TXDOT is actually going to be replacing some of the protective structures that are under the bridge and just to the north of the bridge that were designed to protect the bridge from a barge strike. We know that in Imelda, despite those features being in place, a strike did occur. Damage was done that was quite significant. But those bumper structures are going to be replaced. And through commenting on that application that's through the Army Corps of Engineers, I have been in direct communication with an environmental engineer with TXDOT, and he happens to be the environmental engineer that's also working on the bridge replacement. So we've had several conversations in the last couple of weeks, and I'm excited to tell you guys that they are in fact going to be hosting a public meeting in some form this fall to talk about the bridge replacement with the community. I know there's a lot of interest in this, especially since Imelda, and so I intend to keep up my communication with TXDOT. I'm so excited that I actually have a fellow geologist that I'm communicating with now within TXDOT, not only about the replacement of these safety structures, but also about the replacement of the bridge. So stay tuned for those details. It's something we all seriously should care about and be involved with, not only when there's an accident, but in the early stages of planning like they are in right now for the bridge replacement. The last Houston specific update has to do with COVID-19. The Environmental Defense Fund, University of Texas Medical Branch, Rice University, among others, have collaborated to create a platform that they are asking all local residents go to and submit health information. What they're looking at is how the disease has impacted our community. And in order to understand that, they need data points. And all of you are those data points. Your health is so important. To go onto this website, submit your health information so that they can track how the disease is impacting our community. Now for San Jacinto River Waste Pit specific updates. In recent weeks, I've received concerns from community members that the drums that were on site were moved and folks were wondering what was going on. So as y'all know, for some time, drums have sat near the gates or in a couple of different places on the Superfund site. And recently there was access issues with the access road that runs there between Interstate 10 and the northern impoundment. And so there were access issues there, and so the drums had to be moved. They are still, however, on site. They have just been moved. There are a few items that I hadn't heard much about in some time, so I began inquiring with Gary, one of which is the experiment that they've been doing looking at the crushed concrete and the potential reuse of this crushed concrete. Now, I know many of you were outraged when the agency mentioned at the last community meeting that they might actually reuse the crushed concrete that has made up that temporary cap. Now, I felt a bit more comfortable after the agency explained to me the process that they were going through for this experiment to see if the rocks are in fact harboring dioxin in their pores or on their surfaces. And so the results of that, along with the studies they've been doing, looking at how they will treat the water that they encounter during remediation, will all be presented to the agency in the design packages. Now, y'all have heard for some time about the 30% design. You've heard about it with regard to the consent decree, as well as with moving forward through the design process. So right now, we're in the pre-design investigation part of the Superfund process. And in April, the 30% design package for the Southern Impoundment was submitted to the agency from the responsible parties and their consultants, GHD. At the end of May, the 30% design package for the Northern Impoundment is to be submitted to the agency. Now, why this is important? Once you get to the 30% design in the engineering and construction world, you can become that much more confident about the direction that the process is going to take. So it's critical that we remain engaged through this process to ensure that remediation is planned as safely and effectively as possible. You know, we're looking out for the community's safety. We're looking out for the workers' safety, and we're looking out for the protection of the environment in the San Jacinto River as well as Galveston Bay. So there are so many important things that we're looking at protecting through this process. And so I'm really excited to get the 30% design information, because that's really going to give us a firm understanding of what direction this might actually go. We know a general outline of how remediation is going to take place based on the record of decision. However, so much investigating, sampling, and analysis has taken place during this pre-design investigation that is shaping the way remediation can actually go. So I really look forward to receiving information on this from the agency and being able to review these reports once they become publicly available. I doubt that I will have the Southern Impoundments and the Northern Impoundments by our next town hall, but I surely hope to have a firm understanding of what direction this is heading in by the end of this summer. The last part of the design that I'm extremely interested in is the sand separation area. That again is another area we haven't heard that much about in recent months. So the sand separation area is that most northwest area that we truly have not understood that much about. It's a smaller, shallow area northwest of the Northern Impoundment that was a byproduct of the dredging process. So back in the 1960s, when an entity dredged into that northern pit, its runoff created the sand separation area. So it has lower concentrations of dioxin with respect to the two primary pits, but it's still absolutely something that we need to know how it's going to be handled. And it's our right as citizens to be involved in the process, to use our voice, to advocate in the process, because after all, this is not an industrial area. This is a river of high recreational use nestled above Galveston Bay. So it's essential that we are ensuring that what is in the river is safe for a recreational fisherman, for residential use, not just industrial use. So going through the Superfund process, you know, there were not that many data points for the sand separation area. And our group largely advocated for more sampling and analysis. And in the pre-design investigation, over 9 samples were taken from this smaller area. And the results of those will also be presented in the design package. Now for updates at the Jones Road Superfund site. What I want to say about this site is simply encouraging local residents to be the eyes and the ears in the community right now. We need you more than ever paying attention to what's going on at that site and reporting that back to us. The EPA cannot travel right now. They are required to work from home. They're required not to travel. So we need you reporting to us what you're seeing. What we're being told from the agency is that the soil vapor extraction system is continuing to operate and that the remediation is ongoing and is actually taking place. But if you are in the area, please drive by the center and see the operations that are going on behind the shopping center and see if there are crews out there operating these machines. See if you observe anything coming from the exhaust system that is part of the soil vapor extraction system. We need your boots on the ground. Please communicate with us, please work with us about what's going on at the site, because local knowledge and what you all are seeing is essential and is proven to be invaluable in this process. Okay, in closing, I want to provide you guys some information with an upcoming event that I think we should all care about. Some of our environmental partners are hosting an online virtual forum for the Railroad Commission election that will be coming up. The Railroad Commission was established in the 1800s to regulate the rail industry. However, over time, it vastly changed to regulating other industries and being involved in other industries. And many of us who live in Texas know the Railroad Commission as an entity that primarily gives permits to the oil and gas industry. And they also have very specific authorities over our water. So this is an entity that we all truly, really need to be paying attention to, and we all really need to care about who is in office at this entity. And there is one commissioner's seat up for grabs. And so, like I said, some of our partners are going to be hosting an online virtual forum. I strongly encourage you on March 27th to tune into this forum and listen to the candidates who are going to be running for this seat that the commission is offering. So tune in, hear what they have to say, see what their values are, and please remember, you have to get out and vote, because it's so essential that the people we put in office are really looking out for our best interests, for the environment, for the water flowing into our homes, and truly the environment as a whole where we live, work, and play. Thank you all again for tuning in this month, and I hope that this town hall finds you well and happy during these dynamic times.